Alright, YouTube, here we are on the computer, and we're about to import the file that we just saved on our flash drive into an empty session. To do that, we're just going to open up an empty session, and then go to File, Import. As you can see, you have different tracks, type of files that you can import. And in our case, we're just going to import a Motif type of file, be it an XF or XS if you have an XS keyboard. And I'm going to locate that file, and here it is. And we're going to click Open. All right, from here you can select from the songs that are available from your Motif XF file. In our case, we're going to use song number 4. And from here, you can choose to import 1, 2, or multiple tracks, or you can select all of the tracks to import into your Cubase session. In our case, we're going to select all tracks and then click OK. And there you have it. All of the tracks from this song are now in our session, and everything is properly cut out, and you don't have to do any more work to get everything in. The next thing to make sure of is that the routing for these tracks are properly set up. You don't want anything coming in by accident, so I would go ahead and disable the input routing of your tracks, but leaving the output towards the keyboard that you're using, be it an XF or the XS. So I'm disabling the input and enabling my output by selecting the instrument, the external instrument that I'm going to be using to play these tracks. All right, now once I'm done with that, then I'm going to go on my Motif keyboard and make sure that each of these instrument channels have the proper instrument on my keyboard assigned to them, because the tracks here will play whatever instrument is assigned to this channel. So channel 5, I want to make sure that it is assigned the proper instrument on my keyboard to play this track properly. So what I typically do, I'm going to come here on my Motif keyboard and select the exact song that I just imported into my project. Since that song already have the proper instruments, all I have to do is make sure that each of those channels have the proper instruments assigned to them. All right, and then I'm going to go to Utility on the keyboard and make sure that local control is off. I'm also going to go to sequencer control and turn that off as well. Now, if you don't know where those are, I believe I've already done a tutorial for that. But if you have any questions about where the local control is, utility is where it is. And if you look at that window, you'll see the local control up at the top and the sequencer control at the lower top, side of the screen to your left. All right, the next thing we want to make sure happen is that the song has the proper tempo to it. So I'm going to come down here and say 65, since this is the song tempo in the Motif keyboard. Again, this song comes standard with your Motif keyboard, so this is not my song. All right. And I think we are now ready to test out this song. So press play. All right, so everything sounds good. So the import was properly set up. And this is basically how to do an import and from your Cubase, from your keyboard to Cubase. You can do that with your patterns. All you have to do is take your patterns, save them, export them to the song mode of your keyboard, and then once you do an all data save, that those songs will be on your drive or whatever device you use and can be imported into your Cubase project. Now, one other thing that I'd like to show you here. This track number 10 is the drum track. Let me bring it down at the bottom. Now, what you can do here, and some of you may know this already, but for those of you who don't know, what you can do here, you can dissolve this track into parts, and each part would be on a track by itself. This allows for better editing and mixing or recording, rendering your MIDI tracks to audio. Um, and the way to do that is to select the track, go to MIDI, and dissolve part. And you have the optimized display, which will dissolve each part to a track, or you can dissolve the parts to their own lanes within the track. In our case, we're just going to choose the optimized display so that every part can be on a track by itself. And then we're going to click OK. And here you are, you have all of your track, all of your parts to the drum on its own individual track. Now, it has taken a significant part of my screen, but Cubase allows you to do a folder track. So we're going to create a folder track and put all of these parts into that folder. So press Shift and click the last track, right click on it, and select move selected tracks to new folder. Okay, there you have it. Now all of these tracks or parts are now in this folder here, and we can just collapse the folder and we have all our parts in here. Now it has disabled the original track so that when you're playing this, you're not hearing this as well. But this folder here is the exact same thing as the original track, except that now each part of that drum is on its individual track. All right, and you can rename this folder to drums. And you open it up, and here they are. Now, if we want to test it out, C1 is the kick, and we can solo that one and see what it sounds like. Okay, and I believe C sharp is the snare. All right, and this should be the hi-hat. And this is another hi-hat. So, all right. All right. So again, this allows a lot of flexibility when it comes time to put this whole thing or your drums parts to audio. Then you have each individual track part by itself, and you can just route that to the audio tracks so that you can, do your mixing properly. All right, so that's basically how to import songs, MIDI songs from your Motif keyboard into Cubase. It is recommended that you do it this way in order to reduce the amount of error. Because if you were to record each individual track by itself from your keyboard, it could have created a lot of errors. But this reduces the amount of errors that you can make significantly. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. Give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, let me know, or and leave some comments for me as well. All right, thank you. Enjoy.